I've got one that can see.
Logic before authority.
Hi guys, this is Daniel Alexander Cannon here on Logic Before Authority. Well, I got a bit of a whopper for you today. I think anyone that's got a heartbeat is going to find this very interesting. Now, you can see what the name is here, but I want to show you how this is all tied by this. You see, I can see Revelation 17 lining up. You know, Revelation 17, when the woman riding the back of the beast, you know, the woman that the Statue of Liberty stands for, the woman riding the back of the beast, and the beast rises up and kills her. You know, Revelation 17, which we're going to take a look at too. But I'm going to explain to you what's going on here with the war in the Middle East, okay? And, you know, you got to understand that there are multiple levels here that we have to be able to separate through discernment and understand. Okay, you got the story that the television, the live vision is telling you. And then you've got what's actually, you might say, being played out. And then you've got to also realize that all of this, for the highmost part, there are controllers that are in place. Okay, you see, you got to also understand that the war, this whole war and everything that's going on, and ultimately the fall of Mystery Babylon, the war is not between countries really in all of this. The war is on the people. Yeah, the people meaning you, and it means also the people in Iran, you know, regular people, not the controller billionaire types and all of this, though they're in with the system, you might say, the beast system. Okay, so you've got to realize there's multiple levels to this that are playing out. Okay, now what we can see is that Iran, of course, and Israel and the United States have been in a conflict. And they're going backwards and forth, acting like there's going to be peace. There's not going to be any peace. It's going to escalate from here on out. Okay? And then there's going to come a point where the chickens are going to come home to roost. It's coming. It is coming. And I'm going to explain it to you. You see, you got all these countries here: Iran, Saudi Arabia, Yemen, Oman, Iraq, Syria, Turkey, Egypt, Libya. You've got all these different countries, including India and some big boy players, China, okay, and Russia, and Northern Korea, and many other countries. There's no one that's not going to be affected by what's being played out. And it's being played out because it is a plan. It's the Great Reset, okay? That most of us, the good news is we're not going to go through it, okay? Because we're looking at Revelation 17. Guess what comes just a little bit before Revelation 17? Well, if I'm reading it correctly, it's when Christ returns, okay? So before this full-blown battle, before the chickens come home to roost, according to Revelations, we get out of here. I know some people say there is no rapture, there is a rapture. I tend to think that there is a rapture. And I tend to think, assuming that I'm correct, that the Bible is linear, meaning you've got, let's see here, you've got Revelations 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and even 18. If these are linear, this means we fly before this really, really bad stuff happens, okay? And I'd like to believe that. I'd like to believe it. And I can say this, is that I can see that this is written out, and all these things that are going on that are written out in the Bible, they are playing out. Like Revelation 6, the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. The white horse being the people out there that have authority. They wear white jackets, like your doctors, your pharmacists, your scientists, all these people that wear these white jackets, and they have authority because we're supposed to trust them because they're pure, they're righteous. They are the ones that have brought out the abomination out of the pit, all the stingers that went out all around the world and stung a lot of people, right? That and Revelation 11:9, and just I can see so much about the Bible that is true, absolutely true, and playing out. You can't pick up a Bible in a week or a month or even a year and even understand what it's saying. It's taken me 16 going on 17 years now, and I was reading Bible before that, but I never really took it seriously until the last 16 years, and I've taken it very seriously. And this is playing out. This is the great prostitute and the beast, the scarlet woman sitting on the back of the scarlet colored beast, full of the names of blasphemy and 7 heads and 10 horns. And ultimately what takes place is that the 7 heads are 7 mountains on which the woman sitteth, and there are 7 kings, okay? Now, I can go through this. I know y'all guys mostly know this, but let's look at what's happening here. Excuse me. Just can't get through this. It's so dry out that, anyways, long story. So, Middle East and global alignments, okay, that's coming together from separate directions. We think that because the television tells us, the television tells us that all these countries are not necessarily aligned, that they're not aligned, that they're enemies and such, in some cases. And they might not be in full agreement, but what they don't want to do is, and I'm referring to the people don't want to lose their countries, because right now what's happening is the oil industry is being reset, okay? And they're using this play, this world stage, to play it out. But this world stage and this play has real world pain, okay? It's literally, even though it's a play being played out by the controllers at the top, the evil demonic ones, it still has effects on me, on you, and you got to understand that. So now let's look at something here. Middle East and different countries and their relationships with Israel, because we need to look at whose relationships are good or bad with Israel. And we need to look at whose relationships are good or bad with Iran, because they are the ones that are the main characters, of course, and the United States that are in the beginning of what's happening. And it's not really the beginning, but it's the beginning that ultimately will lead to the end. Here are countries that are strongly anti-Israel. Okay? Let me back out just a little bit. Right here. Okay, Iran. Okay. Syria, Iraq, Yemen, Lebanon. Now I want you to pay attention to something. I want you to look at their flags. Look at Iran's flag. Green, white, and red. Look at Syria's flag. Red, white, and black. Iraq, red, white, and black. Yemen, red, white, and black. Lebanon, red, white, and black. But it also has green in it. These colors are very significant. It also comes into play when you come over here and start looking at the colors that are inside of each of these other flags. So this is your core group, basically, okay? Straight up anti-Israel. Then you have what's called the opposed or no normalization. They don't really recognize Israel as being a country, okay? But they're not as quite as anti as these guys publicly or portrayed on the television, okay? Lebanon, Qatar, Kuwait, Algeria, okay? These guys, what's going to happen is these countries, including countries like Saudi Arabia, Turkey, Oman, they're going to realign or reset their agreements. They're going to come together to stand against the enemy that is trying to destroy the oil industry, to reset the oil petro industry, and ultimately are behind the attacks that are happening in their country. Now, would Iran be attacking Saudi Arabia if Israel and the United States was not attacking Iran? No, they wouldn't. Same thing with other countries like Oman and Turkey and Qatar and Lebanon and Kuwait. They would not have these issues either. The real problem here are the ones that are provoking all of this to happen. These countries are going to realign with each other, okay, against Israel and ultimately the United States, because Israel, it doesn't have enough industry and enough capability and enough manpower to pull this off. The United States and its people have been foolishly used to do this. That we allowed ourselves. I was in the military. I served 4 years, okay? And I was foolish. I was raised by the television. My parents believed the lie. And so I grew up thinking the United States is the greatest country in the world and the home of the free and the land of the brave. No, we're the land of the slave and the home of the sleeping person. Now, if you go over here too and look at like Egypt, Jordan, United Arab Emirates, Bahrain, and Morocco, these countries, if you look at their flags, red, white, black, black, white, green, green, white, black, with some red also, and this one also has red, they mean something. And the fact that they have the same design even They're tied, okay? If in no other way, they're tied symbolically and tied prophetically, okay? Now, if we come down here and look at a few other things, let's instead of looking at who is against Israel, let's look at who is with Iran. Well, North Korea, China. China is Iran's largest trading partner, major oil buyer. So when you are attacking Iran, you're attacking China's oil supply. Now, understand, again, there's multi-layers to this. The like Jinping or whatever his name is that runs China, he is a placeholder, and he has good knowledge of really what's going on, but there are controllers even above him. He is portrayed on the television to be the ultimate leader in China, and he's looked at and treated that way. But ultimately, they know that there's a global reset going on. Here's a good way to put it. Did China go along with the free needles? Yeah. Name a country that's on this list here that did not. So they believed Operation Warp Speed and took the needles, right? Why would they take the needles from an enemy country and allow their people to be poked with them? Wouldn't that be a great Trojan horse? Yes, and it was a great Trojan horse. But that should make you be able to see that at the top, or slightly even above the top, all these countries are ultimately controlled by a group of people, and that they are waging war against the actual people, like me and you. The war is against us. And it doesn't matter which country you live in. That war is against you. Okay? It doesn't matter if you're in Australia right now listening to me, because I know you listen to me, Australia. It doesn't matter if you're in Uzbekistan or Japan or Korea or anywhere. I know you're listening, and also know, or I'd like to believe, that you realize that your government is not really truly for you. Name a government in the world that is really truly for their people. There might be some better than others. So we've got Russia, China, and North Korea that are very close strategic partners with Iran. You've got Belarus, Venezuela, Cuba, Nicaragua, Bolivia. Those either are or were, like Venezuela. We know what was said that was going on there, and I don't even know how much to believe. You send in a few hundred or even 1,000 troops and take over a country, and the military just stands down? That don't sound like a takeover. It sounds more like a handover. But a lot of these countries, I can't tell you exactly for sure every single one, but they're going to come together, and they will be this right here. They will be the kings that are given power for 1 hour with the beast. And these have one mind, and shall give their power and strength unto the beast. These shall make war with the Lamb, and the Lamb shall overcome them. They that are with him are called and chosen and faithful. Excuse me, I might be reading the wrong verse technically. I meant to read, and the 10 horns which thou sawest are 10 kings. And they do receive their power as kings for 1 hour with the beast. And ultimately what they do is they destroy Mystery Babylon. They destroy Mystery Babylon. If you go to the next chapter in Revelations 18, it is speaking, of course, about the fall of Babylon, and it's describing it. And in 17, the previous chapter, is talking about, it's giving you the symbolism of the great prostitute, which ultimately is the United States, along with a few other countries, possibly in organizations like England and others, that ultimately are the Edomites and the Anglo-Saxons that took over these countries, including like Germany, and I can name a number of them. But all these other countries are going to come together, and they're going to dry up the Euphrates River and wage basically, what's the word I'm looking for? Basically the final battle, the gathering of hundreds and hundreds of thousands that are going to go against them, because they're going to be pushed so hard, and we're talking about the people, that they're going to go along with this attack. They're being used, they're being played, but they're going to go along with it. It's the plan. And it's also written that this is going to happen. And it is going to happen. Here's a map showing you the red is Iran and its closest allies. Okay? So Iran and its closest allies are in red. In orange is Iran's partners, economic and otherwise partners. So you can see that a lot of this north and western area over here is where all that's at. Some of it's spread around a little bit other places, but most of it's up over here in the north. Sound familiar about make way for the kings of the north? And we know, let's see, we know that there's prophecy about the Euphrates River being dried up, right? And we also know that there are 8 dams on the Euphrates River. We know that the Euphrates starts out up here in Turkey, and there's a dam right here that could stop an enormous amount of water from flowing south. And then there's 2 more dams down here, or 2 more in Turkey, and then 2 in Syria that could stop the flow of the water. And down here in Iraq, there are 2 also that could stop the rest of the water. And then the Euphrates River would be dried up. And what would that do is that would make way for all these red countries to come across to Israel. But then we've also got the chickens coming home to roost over here, which this is why there are dozens and dozens and dozens of movies and books and comic books and video games about New York City being destroyed. It's the head of Babylon. It's where the UN's at. It's where all the banking systems and stock markets are at. And yeah, there would probably be some other areas that would be destroyed as well. But this is all their plan that they're playing out. And the Bible explains it all. It's just that it takes a long time. It's taken me 16 years to be able to see it. Now, I'm not the best at being able to try to explain things, and I just sometimes don't have the words. But this is what's playing out. And I'm still watching. These are satellite indicated fires in the last 7 days around Iran and Syria, Iraq, Israel, and so on into Turkey up here. Now, some of these are just somebody burning a field off. But a lot of these, as I've shown you in past videos a month or 2 ago, you've got a lot of these that are actual infrastructure being destroyed, because they are going to destroy the oil producing infrastructure. That is one of the major goals to do this, because if they do that, who will it cripple? It cripples all of these red countries, including China, and it hurts Russia even. And so they're being crippled. So what are they going to do? They're going to gang up together and they're going to cut the head off of the snake. I hope you get it. This is the whole world. This is a soccer ball in the image of the entire world. And you got countries over here, countries over there, and you've got the United States right here. And you've got somebody in a ship, a Trojan horse ship that's attacking the United States at some point. You've got another Trojan horse right here. See right here, looks like an Egyptian type boat, and he's bringing a gift and he's handing it out in front of him right there. But you can see right below the boat ain't a boat, it's a shark, meaning it's a Trojan horse. Okay, so when you see these gifts start to exchange hands between these countries, because they talk in peace and safety, beware. Beware. And of course, I've shown you the crossed swords and what that's symbolic of. It's a Saudi Arabian sign. It's actually an Edomite sign. Crossing of the swords. It's also a Masonic sign and symbol. Now, like I said earlier, you have all this stuff going on, Babylon fall and all this stuff, really bad wars and everything, the 7 bowls of God's wrath. Got the 7 angels with the 7 plagues, and the Lamb in the 144. If you come here and read this, you'll start to see that this talks about ultimately the rapture. It talks about the first fruits. It talks about that the people who follow Father in heaven and speak his words and tell and sing his song with our testimonies, that we get taken out of here ahead of time. If you had asked me a couple of years ago that I think there would be a rapture, I would have said, I don't know. But I've learned a lot in the last 2 years, and one of the things I have learned is how accurate the Bible is. And yes, I'm aware that there has been things that have been changed even in the Bible. But those things, luckily, because I started studying so many years ago, I still know what the original thing said. Now, it also talks about the harvest, which I was talking about. Okay. This is what that is there. It starts at about Revelations 14:14 through Revelations 14:20. And that's depicting a rapture. And this is, like I said, this is Revelations 14. From 15 all the way up, basically all the way down almost, is depicting what happens after the rapture. I really owe a few people a thank you, actually a lot of people. For the purposes of this moment, I want to say thank you to the people who sponsored this video. That would be Karen J, Marketing Automation, Robin W, John M, Robert G., Chris M., Jason S., and Billy W., and also some others as well that have sponsored other videos through this month so far, and like Gerald F., Bill A., Julie M., Diane M., Sandra R., Nicole D., Robin W. again, Karen J. again, Kimberly G., Brett M., Benjamin T., and Robin W. again. I thank y'all guys so much. You what gives me the time and the ability to be able to do this. Many of you are what I call producers. Some of you donate just every once in a while, every few months. If you choose to donate to my work to help me continue it, any amount each month. One month it can be $5, the next month it can be $50. It doesn't matter. But if you do it consistently, as you know, I give you credit as what I call a producer. It means you help me produce this, because you literally do, and you'll be included in the credits, like here.
I've got one that can see.
Logic before authority.
I've got one that can see.
Logic before authority.